Hello and welcome back to the finish line. Tom literally popped in right now.
That's
We
unbelievable timing.
Jesus Christ.
That is unbelievable timing, to be fair.
It's not 7 minutes late.
7 minutes late.
Now I'm going to have to get rid of my dog, so you're going to... He might sit there. He'll be fine. He'll be all right.
We encourage any pets. Finishing my podcast. Anyway, this is obviously weekend preview. We're going to go through 5 races, 4 at Sandown and 1 at Navan. Short enough video today, but we are going to do our Punchestown Festival preview live at 8 o'clock on Sunday instead of talking points. So we have the 5 days of the Punchestown Festival to go through with all our best bets and everything to go with it. All the winners of the tickets for the Punchestown Festival from Hollywood Bets have been sent out. Most of you got them, so enjoy the racing, lads, because it's going to be fantastic. Right. Any news before we get into it? Updates?
Not anyway.
Not here, Tom. No. Okay, lovely. Let's do this.
Looking forward to next week. That's about it.
Yeah. I literally can't wait. I'm literally in holiday mode now. I'm working now, and I'm looking at the screen going, entries for Tuesday, entries for Wednesday. No work's been done. Right, so let's get to it. We're going to start with the Oaks. Where are we going? Oaksie Chase. I have new things done this week. So Mr. Fisher is in at 13-day favor. St. Calvados at 9-4. Nutswell at 3-1. Earn River in at 4. 4-runner race. Not the easiest race in the world to pick out the winner. But Tom, where are you going to start with, and what is going to win the Grade 2 Oaksie Chase?
I'd start with Mr. Fisher. He's not a horse I like. He is very, very hard to win with. For James Bone. James Bone gave him a great ride at Kempton to win, and he won. He won snugly, but he has to be cajoled into it. He's been well beaten since. He's got to give £6 to St. Calvados and Earn River here. He's 7-4, 100% taking him on. St. Calvados, we've heard, has had bleeding issues this year. Again, not a horse that I want to be backing coming off the back of bleeding issues and only around 15 days ago. Take him on. Nutswell. For anyone who didn't see it, I think it was on Channel 4. Matt Baker, the former Blue Peter presenter, he's got a Travels with My Parents or Adventures with My Parents series, and he was at Hexham, and he was at Ian and Anne Hamilton's yard, and it was really good watch. So try and get that on the Channel 4 player. He's run really well this year, but can just bump into one and had a hard race the last day. And he's got to give £6 away. So by process of elimination, that lands us on Earn River, who I was actually telling you, Andrew, the other day when I was going through this before the decks for the show that could have been on Wednesday. I backed him. I've backed him already this week. Look, he's an improving novice. He went off 11-4 from Grade 1 at Aintree, where he fell. He was unlucky enough to fall there. That has to be said. So I wouldn't not put that against him too much. He's rated 144. He's got to improve a few pounds, no doubt. But I think if there's one in there who's going to improve, it's most certainly him. I think we know all about the other 3. So at 5-1 still, I'm happy enough to take that price, and I'll give him a chance.
Did you get a new camera?
No. Is it bright? Is it clearer?
Very clear today.
Yeah, I think the light is this side of the screen, so I just put them back a bit rather than trying to get in the Hollywood Bets telephone box, as someone put it the other day. So. Yeah, no, it's
not far off.
It's all right.
You're looking well, though. You're looking well for a 6-year-old, I have to say.
Thank you. I got this glow about me. Somebody said to Siobhan today, that's fucking hilarious, that they said that they knew me, and she was saying who she was married to. And they turned around and said to her,
away from the podcast.
They turned around and said to her, Jesus, he's only a young fella.
For fuck's sake. Where'd they meet them?
Oh, he said, "Oh God, yeah, wife isn't happy today."
Dave, who wins?
Yeah, look, it's more again like Tom, process of elimination. I fell on Oran River. I've always liked Nutswell, but he's run a good couple of races and he had a hard race the last time. St. Calvados, to me, he had to run better the last day for anybody to be backing him. I know Paul Nichols is wanting to, get easy races and get all the money and to win the championship, but to me, he's run poorly all season, bar when he was traveling well in the King George. Mr. Fisher, I don't care if he wins. If he wins, so be it. I never back that horse. He's an absolute dog. And so, yeah, ended up on Oran River because he looks steadily enough progressive, bar his fallen entry, and they obviously thought he's good enough to run the Grade 1, so give him a shot.
Yeah, I'm going to make a 3 for 3 for Oran River. I actually put him up for the race at Aintree. Look, he was hampered. I think it was 4 hour to 10th. The 10th, I think it was, not 4 hours. At the 10th. His jump was suspect up to that point, but that was the point where he was actually only brought into the race at that stage. He's an improver. He's been winning races and winning them very easy until the last day. So I think he has to improve, yes, a good bit on the ratings, but look, he's one of the very few improving in the race. We know what the rest of Mr. Fisher is a bitch. I couldn't give a shit if he wins. I'd never back him again. He's an absolute hound. He's just a twat. If he was a horse and I owned him, I'd sell him. Just because I don't like the look of him.
He is a hound.
He's a hound. Don't like the look of him. St. Calvados apparently all of a sudden needs good ground after he bolted up on heavy ground throughout his whole career. And he bleeds more than some poor fella that got the head boxed off him by Mike Tyson on an airplane the other day. And Nutswell, I like Nutswell, but he's a bit old now. He's 11. We know what he is. He's not getting any younger. So I think Oran River, 7-year-old, I'm going to forgive him his last run, and I will happily take 5-1 in a 4-runner race. Now, where do we go next? Oh, Christ, here's the first goddamn fly of the year. Dave, we need to get a fly catcher in here.
I'll do that for you, Andrew.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. There's a new fella at the starting next door now. He hasn't a clue what's going on in here now.
Some lad talking to himself.
New video in next door now. Listen to us talking absolute right. Right, we're moving on to the 3 o'clock, and it's the Celebration Chase. We have Nubia Negra in a 6-4. Grand Teen is 13-8. Sorayal 7-2. Rouge Vif at 12s, and Sky Pirate at 33-1. Dave, Celebration Chase. Who's going to be celebrating across the line? Hey, it's the worst line ever. I'm sorry.
Look, I think you can concentrate on the top 2 in the betting, and I think many moons ago at the start of the season, we're talking about Grenadine, and I said he'd probably end up just being what he is and then winning this race at the end of the season. I would understand people going for Nubia Negra off a break. He does, when he wins, tend to look very good, but you can pick.
You know what my problem is with him, and I tell you now, and I've just looked back. Fuck off, Fly. Look back on a few of his runs there before he came on. Very much a bridle horse. Once he gets really asked for his effort, he finds zilch. Go back and look at all his wins. They've been comfortable, eased down, always in command. And anytime he's been beaten, he's been asked to actually go through with an effort.
But as I was saying, his 2 wins.
That's your goddamn conversation, man. Fuck me. You were nicer when you had COVID. You're over COVID now. You're back being a dick.
I feel worse now. I'm so tired. His 2 wins, he can pick holes in them. His win at Kempton, he beat Altior, but I think that was not anywhere near the Altior that he used to be. And then at the start of the season, he won the Schlur Chase at Cheltenham. He beat Put the Kettle On, who was gone at the game. He beat Rouge Fish, who is also another horse that just went to Paul Nichols and seems to have gone completely the wrong way. And Pimlico goes in second, who has been retired since because he hasn't run a decent race since he won the champion chase probably. So look, I think it leaves it open for Grenadine. He's run 3 chases at Sandown. He's been second, first, and first. He seems to love the course, so I think it's Grenadine's to lose, to be honest.
You on the same page there, Tommy? You're looking somewhere else?
Yeah, definitely am. Grenadine is probably the strongest bet for me this weekend. As Dave said, 3 runs at Sandown, and he has won 2 of them and been second once. He's won the Tingle Creek. He's been second in the Tingle Creek. And then he actually beat Altior in this race last year. He beat So Royal that day as well. I think if you look at his last run, I think you can definitely forgive it him. We were at Leopardstown that day. He was really keen for some reason. And Bryony then, she went plenty fast, and she was the only one to keep to the inside of the track, which was a strange enough thing to do. So I'm very happy to just put a line straight through that. If you look at his form then this year, he ran well in the Howden Gold Cup when, expected to come on for the run, I'm sure. And then he's gone and he won the Tingle Creek on his next start, and he's been second to Shishkin at Kempton. I think he's absolutely rock solid, to be honest. I think this is his race. I'm surprised he's not favourite. I'll take So Royal on any day with Grenadine. I think Grenadine's a better horse than he is, and he's proved that on a few occasions. Rouge Vif and Sky Pirate, the same goes. I think he's definitely a better horse. So that leaves Nube Negra, who Dave picks out a good point there. Like, you can say, I would say this track doesn't suit him. Some people will argue then that because it's got a stiff finish. Some people argue that, he's won at Cheltenham. How can you say that? His wins at Cheltenham have been against lesser fields. And as Dave says, when he comes off the bridle and is put under pressure, I'm not convinced it's all there. He wears a tongue tie, whether that's the issue, why it's not all there when he's asked for it. He's had 2 runs at Sandown. He's been beaten twice, including last time out in the Tingle Creek behind Grenadine. And I think Grenadine will go off favourite. And at 13 days is a fairly decent bet. I'd have more 5-4 kind of job.
Yeah, I'm going to make it 3 from 3 again. I think Grenadine is one of the most solid bets of the weekend. Nube Negra, to me, after going back through his runs and his wins, to me, he looks much of a bridle horse. Doesn't find much off the bridle whatsoever. He has 12 lengths to find on Nube Negra or on Grenadine from the Tingle Creek. Grenadine, he beat Altior in this at the end of last season. That was not the Altior we all knew and loved, but he still beat him convincingly. He's 2 from 3 over chases around Sandown. He's 50% strike rate all over if you include this hurdle run. His run at Leopardstown, we were up there, and we knew the second Bryony stuck him on the inside and was going off like clappers, this thing had no chance. Every jockey around there that day was avoiding that rail, and Bryony, being Bryony, decided to take matters into her own hand. His form behind Shishkin is good enough to win this. The rest of them are much for muchness. I think, as Tom said there, he will go off favours. I think he'll go off a very sharp price favours. He'd be near enough to even money, I think. Nube Negra again can't have. And Grenadine for the celebration chase 2 years in a row. Right. Now we are going to move on to get rid of that. The Bet365 Gold Cup over 3 miles, 5 furlongs. We have Inrillo in at 7-2, Kitty's Lights in at 4-1, Win My Wings at 5s, Flagmatic at 7s, Musical Slave 8s. Last year's miraculous winner, Potterman at 10, Streets of Dion 12s, and 12-1 Bigger the Rest. Tom, we'll start with you. Last year's winner, Potterman. Unbelievable win. Finished third, still managed to win. Comes back here again. This fly is wrecking my bulb right now. It's a big ass fly as well. It's on steroids or something. Where was I? Potterman, yeah. Last year's winner. I don't know where I'm on now. Comes back again, £2 higher today. Winner last time. Win My Wins has gone up I think £14 from her Scottish Grand National win Tom, and then you've Keith Light and Arillo, who actually was first past the post last year. Very competitive race, a lot in with chances, but where is the value lying, Tom? Set you up lovely there. Thank you and enjoy.
I do have one at a bigger price actually as well. But yeah, Potterman. Look, Potterman has his chance, but he's anything but consistent. His last 7 runs, he's got 4 letters in there, and then it's 1-2-1. So if you're having a bet on Potterman, I'd be making a win only bet because there's every chance you can bomb out. Gone through this, tried to take on the head of the market, but I found it tough actually. I think Enrillo's got a hell of a good chance. I think Paul Nichols is one of those trainers where, a lot of racehorse trainers, they like repeating things. And if they find something that works, they like sticking to it. So if you look at Potterman here...
Apparently skipping Cheltenham works these days.
Well, it has in some respect for some of his horses, yeah. So... if you look at Enrillo, great for horses. If you look at Enrillo, he won this last year, and he's green as grass.
He didn't win it last year. Who won it last year? Dave. Who won it last year?
Potterman did, and I called bullshit on those grade 4 horses as well. Thank
you, on Potterman, legend. The stewards that day done a fantastic job. It's the only decision I could ever see happening. If anyone doesn't know, I backed Potterman last year. This is why I'm so happy for him.
Anyway, he was doing that as a novice in Enrillo, right? And he got his head in front at some stage, but in fairness, he did run around a bit because he was very green.
Didn't win.
He went off 7-2 favourite for this. Like, he got well punted. That was off 143. Not quite the same sense. He was going okay in the Hennessy when he fell. Ran no sort of race at Cheltenham then, but that came quick enough. And I think he does need a little bit of time between his races. Ran a lovely race at Kempton then, 4th, beaten 11 laps off 146. They dropped him £2 for that. So he's only £1 higher than last year. He's had 56 days off. I think everything's set up for him for a massive run, to be honest. Nichols in good form. And to be honest, I could see him going off maybe even 3-5-2, 3-1. So I think a bit of the 4-1 there is still good value. Kitty's Light deserves one of these. And how in the name of God Kitty's Light is only a 6-year-old, I have no idea, because he seems to have been around forever. Definitely due one of these. The only thing is the handicapper was being kind to him and has now put him up in the last 2 runs from 140, 143 now to 145. Win My Wings has gone up a stone, as Andrew said, for the Scottish national win. Kitty's Light was second, has gone up £2. There's £12 between them. I don't know if that will be enough to turn that form around. Rob James goes back over for the ride on Win My Wings, and I think it's just a case of holding on to that horse and then just letting it rock, with a fence to go. I think she'll run a massive race again. And she's one of these. She's the opposite of Kitty's Light. She's a 9-year-old and has only really hit the scene this year. So her form is brilliant this year. Is absolutely brilliant. And as long as a long enough season doesn't take its toll, but to be honest, it doesn't look like it's going to, does it? So I would be taking Win My Wings and Arillo against them. And then the one I'm going to give a quick shout out to is Step Back. 12-year-old Mark Bradstock has hardly had any runners, so he hasn't had many winners for a long time. But this lad has not been in fantastic form this year. You can write off the Cheltenham cross country run. He needs better ground. Had run okay at Musselburgh before that, but if you look at the Sandown form, is what it's really about. Has won twice over fences here, and been placed twice from 4 runs. Really strong form. If you go through those as well, this is another horse that, and rightly so because of his age, has been given a right good chance by the handicapper. It's down to 130 now, and had won at Sandown off 142 and 135, and been placed third in this race off 145 in 2019, so 3 years ago. So look, needs to forget its old form, but it's definitely starting to become well handicapped. In 3 races, been dropped 13 pounds. So don't rule out step back each way, 28-1 back at Sandown.
He'd have a chance in a veteran's chase. Jesus Christ, above. What's going on with the world?
What price would you back him at? 500 on?
I'm back in my thought.
Top of the market, Kitty's Light deserves one, but just keeps finding one too good. I thought Enrillo would pick up a race at some stage this year, but he's too short for me because he can be inconsistent as well. And I was looking through Win My Wings form, and I know she's gone up a stone, but even back to the race at Cheltenham, she won at the back end of last year. The horse that she beat that day has won that race then this year. Kitty's Light obviously continually running well. She bet Eclair Surf in Newcastle, who had won at Warwick. At Exeter, Musical Slave, who's in this race, was behind her that day, and he's won 2 races practically on the bridle since. So I just think her form is stacking up. So she's so consistent. Why go against her when the form is there as well? She's not winning mediocre races that like nothing is winning coming out of them. They're clearly decent enough races. And then at a bigger price, Shark Hanlon's horse, Hewick, I fancied him to win the Midlands Grand National at Uthoxeter the Saturday after Cheltenham. And I don't think he liked the soft ground. His better form is on good ground or yielding ground in Ireland. Jordan Gainford's going over for the ride, so I think he's too big at 22, kind of 25-1 because he ran poorly the last time. Was pulled up in the Midlands National, but I think it was the ground, so I think he's a each way shot.
Yeah, I have 2. Look, the first one, obviously I'm going to back Potterman again. Horses for courses, and he done me a good one last year. It's unbelievable, Shorten. No reason behind it, just because he won last year and I backed him up. That's the only reason. But look, seriously, he's gone up 2 pounds for his last run. He's a pound higher for his win last year. I say win, his third, but he did win, Tom. He has his chance. He's going to stay the trip. If he backs up his last run, he'll have a decent chance. But my main selection is Philip Hobbs' Musical Slave. As David alluded to earlier, he was behind Win My Wings before, but there's a huge swing in the weights. There's a 15-pound swing in the weights now, even when you include Rob James' 7-pound claim. His last 2 wins that Dave alluded to, he done it on the bridle, done it very, very easily. He looks to me like he will not be bothered at all by the step up and trip. He has course form. He's really coming into himself this season. I think he's going to play a huge hand on a 15-2. He will be my main bet of the day. It's just the way he goes about his business. Jumps really well. Travels. You can drop him out. You can put him up near the leader, so you can be put anywhere in a race. And as I said there, the form with Win My Wins is working out no ends. He's waited to reverse the form, but look, as Dave alluded to, she's at their improving beyond belief this season, and I can't see her being out of the top 3 as well. Win My Wins, the form, she's in the form for life, and I think the 14 pounds that she's been put up won't inconvenience her when she's in that kind of form. When mares in that kind of form, they're ones to follow, and I think she's niche way better than nothing really. But for a win purpose, I think Musical Slave is waiting to beat her, and I think he will go very close to doing so. So Musical Slave is my main pick for this one. Right, now we are on to the select hurdle. There's no betting yet, but Mac Fabulous, Fusel Raffles, Scaramanga, and Indefatigable. Say it for me, Dave.
No. I nearly did.
Oh, but anyway, who wins it, Dave?
Look, it's not the best race in the world, really, is it, for a grade 2? But I'd go with Scaramanga, Nichol's horse. Harry Cobden's on him, so less weight than Mac Fabulous. Fusel Raffles, I wouldn't ever back him. I'm not even saying the mare's name. I'd love to see her win, but she hasn't been great this season either. So Scaramanga.
Who are you with, Tom?
Oh, look, I'm probably with Scaramanga myself. It's not a race that I could get too interested in. I think there's a lot of holes in all of them. For me, Scaramanga is probably the one open to more progress. Was last seen winning a handicap hurdle at this meeting last year off 144. That gives him every right to have a go at this. Ran very well on the flat, then won a nice handicap at Newbury. Before being a little bit disappointed at York and Newmarket. I presume they're going to go back to the flat. So where we see horses having prep runs on the flat to go jumping, I think this lad's almost doing it the other way around. He's having a run now over hurdles, and then we'll see him on the flat. But good record at Sandown as in he's won there. And yeah, if I had to make a selection, it'd be him. I won't be having a bet though. I think there's holes in the rest of them, definitely.
There's betting forecast here. It's not the right betting, but they have Indefatigable in at 9-4, Scaramanga in a 5-2, Mac Fabulous 11-4, and Fusel Raffles in a 10-3. To me, I don't know what to make of the race. Mac Fabulous has failed to live up to the hype again this season. Look, he's been second, third, and fourth. He's beaten a long way the last time at Aintree. He's a lot to prove, and the fact that Harry Cobden has jumped ship as well kind of tells its own story. Look, Fusel Raffles is consistent as the day is long. He'll give you a run for the money. Scaramanga is probably one that is on the improve. Indefatigable, she can go fuck herself after taking down and tell me something girl at Cheltenham. She's in the bad books. She's just, nope, not having you. Look, I will 100% not be having a bet in this race, but it all boils down to how ready Scaramanga is, as Tom alluded to there. But the fact that Harry Cobden has jumped ship to go to ride him, you'd think he's ready, he's forward enough to do himself justice in this race. So another clean sweep for Scaramanga. But literally any of the four of these could end up winning. It's that kind of race. They're all much of the muchness. Indefatigable probably comes out best on ratings when you consider her £7 allowance. So she'd probably be worthy favourite with that. But if Scaramanga is forward enough, he's probably the one with the most improvement in him. Right, one more. We're off to Navan. We'll be off to Navan, Dave. What the hell is on the Navan? Oh, Vintage Crop Stakes. Good old Lister race over 1.6 miles. There's no betting, but the runners are Baron Samedi, Leo the Fury, Sunchart, whatever that is, Seattle Creek, Song for Someone, Effernock Fizz. Did I miss one? Kimura. Dave, take it away. Flash 1.6 miles. Navan, Lister race. Who wins it?
Baron Samedi hasn't won in a while, but he's been running in decent races. He should win, realistically, in my opinion. There's a lot of them having their first run of the season, or would be primed for other targets. And the one that'll probably lead him, Effernock Fizz, I'd give her an each-way chance. She'll probably be an absolutely massive price. She randomly runs well in races you don't expect her to. She could be 50 to 1, maybe. She'll go from the front.
Sorry, I predicted betting here. Search for Someone, 11-4. Cribos 7-2. Baron Samedi 9s. Princess Zoe's not running. Kimura 8s. Sunchart 10s. Leo Fury 12s. Effernock Fizz 100 to 1, Dave.
Yeah, so like Search for a Song is going to be prime for one race of the year again. The Irish St. Ledger, it'll all be geared around that. So I think like she will most likely lead. She's fit from running on the all-weather Dundalk, and at times she's popped up and placed at big prices, 40 to 1 and so on and so forth. So I give her an each-way shot.
Where are you going, Tom?
It's not a race I like, to be honest. I thought Search for a Song on her best form would beat these. I think you went down. I'm not surprised Princess Zoe isn't running on this ground. I think Baron Samedi, he's another one, might want a bit more cut in the ground. And ran well out abroad, but then back at Maidan then was not too great. I thought the interesting ones, and the one I'd put up is Sun Chart each way at 10-1 for Andy Slattery. If you go back through dad's form last year, second to Broome in a good race at Nace, unseated rider then, which was a random one at Navan, but then was second, only beaten a length and a half by Sonny Boy Liston at Limerick. So there's good form in there, and was second to Wordsworth in Goran on its reappearance up in Trip. I just thought, it's had its run under its belt, unlike most of the top of the market. Andy Slattery seems in reasonable form, and 10-1 to take a chance. Kyprios is the interesting one. Was nearly favourite for a derby at one stage, I think, but had run very well at Cork, and then disappointed at Lingfield in the Lingfield derby trial. But yeah, if that was to come back to, probably its best, it would go very close, but not a race I'm mad keen to have a bet in.
One that I'll take a chance with at a kind of bigger price is Leo the Fury. And look, as I say, most of the with the start of either be a jumps or a flat, a run under your belt at near the start of the season is always a big plus. He was last seen finished 6th behind Lafayette in the Hollywood Bets Alleged Stakes at the Curra 2 weeks ago. There wasn't much between him. He's a winner over a mile 4. He stepped up to 1/6 today. I don't think there'll be any problem. Race fitness being his favour. This is kind of Jessica Harrington's time of the year. She'd start coming into form now. Punchestown around the corner. First race on Wednesday, Dave. What happens?
First race on Wednesday, Jesse Harrington wins it. Don't worry about form. Don't worry about price. She's 2 horses entered. Probably would only want to run 1.
Always wins.
She wins 2. Bag them both.
I think she's won it the last 4 years in a row or something. Anyway, Leo the Fury, I think he's around 12-1. Race fitness, good form behind Lafayette last night. High definition, Helvic Dream, and a few other good ones were in that race. So look, he 6-year-old now, could be a bit more improvement left in him, and I take a chance at 12-1 each way with Leo the Fury. Right, that is us done. Naps and next best, and we'll be out of here. Dave, go with you.
Nap is Grenadine. Next best, Win My Wings.
Tom.
Nap is Grenadine, and next best is Earn River.
My nap is Grenadine. My next best is Musical Slave. As always, you get that price.
God help Grenadine.
Lay the living daylights out of him. As always, you can get all them prices on hollywoodsbets.ie.co.uk. Links are in the description. But that was us done for today. Look, apologies for the delay on this week's. I had a bit of technical difficulty on Wednesday. But we are back on Sunday with the 5-day Punchestown Festival preview. So until then, enjoy the weekend's racing, and we'll see you again Sunday live at 8 o'clock for the Punchestown Festival preview.